We think church ought to have a vision, mission, and purpose. We think church ought to be serving the community. We think church ought to be a place for healing. We think church ought to be a place for grace. We think church ought to be a place for hope. We think church ought to be a place for faithfulness. We think church ought to be a place for love. We think church ought to be a place for joy. We think church ought to be a place for fun and laughter. We think church ought to be a place for you. We think church ought to be a place for amazing worship. Now that you know what we think church ought to be, come and see us at the First United Methodist Church this Sunday at 11 a.m., located at 200 Twin Oaks Boulevard in Ganado. And tell us what you think church ought to be.